Good Thursday morning, everyone. Isn't this a great sermon that we are listening to this week? I sure hope that you've been with us every day. But even if you just listened to today with Stacie Wood, Pastor Stacie Wood from Saddleback Church, and speaking on suffering well from Psalm 23. Valuable, valuable insights to hold on to for the next time that we go through anything that is difficult. And life has its difficulties. Now, today is our monthly men's breakfast today, 9 o'clock over at the 19 restaurant in the meeting rooms over there. I hope you'll come on out. We always have a great testimony, have a great breakfast. It's donation only. You can put in what you want. We have eggs Benedict and scrambled eggs and bacon and sausage, coffee. How can you beat that? And great fellowship. So please come on over. Come on over. Now, 9 o'clock. Let's jump back in as Stacie Wood is giving us such valuable, valuable insights on suffering, really getting through suffering. I know we don't like to always think about suffering, but the next time it hits, we're going to have some biblical truth to hold on to. And that's why I wanted to dedicate this week to those points. Let's get back to Stacie Wood.
The invitation today is to stay connected to Jesus. He's inviting you into so much more in your relationship with him than just reading the verse of the day in the morning and then going on and never thinking about him again. How often do we do that? Like maybe we wake up in the morning and we say a prayer or we read the Bible, but then we go out the door and we just forget all about it. But Jesus is saying, no, not that. That's not it. There is a different way of doing life with me, connected to me, that I'm inviting you into. I don't know if you saw this beautiful promise in verse 9, but Jesus says to us, as the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. Think about that. As the Father has loved me, in the same way that the Father has loved me, with the same measure that the Father has loved me, that's how I love you. It's almost unbelievable that Jesus could love us that intensely. You remember when Jesus got baptized and God spoke from heaven and he says, that's my beloved Son in whom I'm well pleased. That's how Jesus feels about you. You are his beloved son. You are his beloved daughter, and he wants you to get that truth down deep in your bones and to remain in it. It's such a stabilizing truth in our life. It's like a source of identity for us, a source of security. So everything that we do in this life, it's not for love, it's from love. And when we remain in that love, Jesus is saying that the character of Christ begins to be formed in us, that's how we bear much fruit, by remaining in that love and allowing him to form that inside of us. It's Christ in us. If you remain in me and I remain in you, you will bear much fruit. It's Christ in you that gives you that hope that you can glorify him. There's no other way around it. You can't do this in your own strength. We have to stay connected to the vine. And as we stay close to him, as we keep our eyes fixed on him, as we behold him, we become like him. You see, you become like whatever you behold. Whatever you give your attention to, whatever source you stay connected to, that is what is shaping your life. And if you will stay connected to the source of all life, he will transform you to become more and more like him. Okay, so let's break it down for a second, real practical. And I just wonder, no show of hands necessary for this one, but I wonder how many parents are out there today and you feel so frustrated with yourself because you just can't stop yelling at your kid. And you want to stop yelling at your kid, and you try to stop yelling at your kid, and you went to that webinar about how to stop yelling at your kid, but it's just not working. And all of your human effort doesn't add up. And it's because that gentleness that you need, that self-control that you need, it's not a matter of human effort. It's a work of the Spirit inside of our hearts. We have to stay connected to the source so that we can bear much fruit. Or I wonder how many students or young adults are just racked with anxiety right now, and you want nothing more than for your heart to be at peace. But no matter what you've tried to get there, you just can't make it happen. And I want to say to you, it's because that peace that you're looking for is a work of the Spirit inside your heart. And we get so frustrated and we feel stuck because we keep looking to the wrong source to solve our problem. We keep looking to behavior modification and mindfulness and pop psychology. And I'm not saying that those things have nothing to offer, but what I am saying is that when we look to the source of life, when we humble ourselves and we're willing to acknowledge our dependence upon Jesus, that is when we give the Holy Spirit space in our lives to do that inner transformative work that we cannot do in human effort. And so the question that remains for us today is how? How do we remain in his love? Like if Jesus says this is the most important thing for you to remember, this is the domino that if you tip it, it's gonna tip all the other dominoes. If it's that important, how do we do it? Just to remain in his love. It feels like such a passive thing, right? Like just remain. Like when you tell your dog, you sit, and you stay there until I tell you to move. Just remain there. It feels quite passive. Like you don't have to do much, just stay there. But actually, this idea of remaining in his love, it takes active participation from us. And so I want to talk about 3 different things, just like for you to consider this week. Let's say that you wake up tomorrow and you're like, okay, I do want to remain in his love. I do want that to be the priority of my life, but how? So three simple things. The first one is to remember the Lord throughout the day. Remember the Lord throughout the day. It sounds so much easier than it actually is. Because I guarantee if you purpose in your heart to remember the Lord all day long, you will fail by 9:30. I just know from personal experience, okay? So it's not as easy as it sounds. Just think about God throughout the day. Like how many of us have tried to do this and we fall short. Our minds get distracted. We can't even make it through a 5-minute prayer without getting distracted. Our brains are just like ping pong balls. And God is asking us, no, think about me. Bring me in, bring me along to your day. I was talking to Pastor Buddy in between services, and he was saying there are 2 things that he likes to try to do. And the first one is that whenever he realizes he's talking to himself, anybody else talk to yourself like all throughout the day, every single day? Okay, so whenever you realize you're talking to yourself, turn it into talking to God. And so you're anxious about something, you're ruminating on something, there's a problem that you're trying to solve in your mind, there's a conversation that you're having in your head. Just turn it into God talk. Turn it into prayer. Prayer is the language of dependence. Prayer is acknowledging that, hey, God, I want you to be a part of this with me. I am inviting you into every space of my life. Sometimes I think we kind of put God in a closet and we tell him to remain there. You know, like you remain in the closet and then I'm just going to go about my day. But what if we invited him along? What if when you get in the car in the morning, you invite Jesus to ride with you? And what if when you're in that parenting situation or kids you're trying to talk to your mom and dad and you're like, oh gosh, I need some extra grace right now. Jesus, help me in this conversation. Or what if you're walking into work and you need some wisdom and discernment for the problem that you're facing at work and you just invite Jesus to help you with that situation. The other piece of advice that Pastor Buddy gave was first prayers, first-minute prayers. So the first minute of your day, turn it back to prayer. The first minute that you get in the shower, turn it back to prayer. The first minute that you get in the car, the first minute that you're walking down the hall to go to a meeting, turn those first moments back to prayer, to reprioritize in your heart. God, I want to remember you. I want to bring you along with me in every sphere that I'm in all throughout the day.